Another Bleach chapter, another color page, and this one's a pretty good one. Chad is in a fighting pose, and we get to see his outfit in color. I do like it, except I'm not sure about the pink wings, but aside from that, Chad looks pretty cool in this one. Next is Orihime, and did her boobs get bigger the last time we saw her? I really don't get the outfit, but from this color page alone, I bet everybody, and when I mean everybody, I mean every single male fan, will be saying this.
10 out of 10.
Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Bleach, chapter 587, The Headless Star 6. Are we ever gonna get a new title? Well, I really have no idea. So the chapter begins on the last page of the previous chapter as Uryuu is leaving to head to the Soul Palace along with Ywhach and Haschvalth. Ichigo, just like in the previous chapter, is yelling at Uryuu, asking him what was going on. Why is he with Yuha? And of course occasionally yelling out his name. But Uryuu doesn't say anything as he disappears heading towards the Soul Palace. And then there's this massive force that knocks back Ichigo, Chad, and Orihime, who has activated her son Tenkeshun. I don't know where that massive force came from, but I think it's got something to do with either Uryuu leaving or Haschvalth and Yuha leaving to the Soul Palace. I don't know. So after that, it starts to rain in the Serete, and Orihime tries to cheer up Ichigo, trying to lighten the mood, but it doesn't seem to work as Ichigo seems to be worried and kind of down in the dumps. Now, whenever Ichigo is down in the dumps or depressed, it's usually Rukia who snaps him out of it, but since Rukia is too busy dealing with the Sternritters, she's been temporarily replaced by Chad. So what does Chad do to snap Ichigo out of it? Picks him up and throws him to the nearest building. Well, it does work. Chad tells Ichigo that he and Orihime are just as shocked as he is to see Uryuu there, but nothing will happen if he just sits around and worries about it. If Uryuu has gone to Yhwach's side, then he must have done so after a great amount of thought and consideration. If that's really the case, then they've got their work cut out for them. This seems to work to snap Ichigo out of it, as he agrees with Chad, but not before insulting Uryuu, calling him a blockhead. So Ichigo decides that he's gonna go after him and get him to explain his reasons, and if he can't convince him, then he'll just smack him upside the head and drag him back here. But if he does convince him, he'll still smack him upside the head and then bring him back. Okay, is it just me or is anyone else getting deja vu after reading this? I mean, think about it. In almost every single arc in Bleach, Ichigo has to go somewhere else to either rescue his friend or bring his friend back. In Soul Society arc, it was Rukia. In Hueco Mundo arc, it was Orihime. And now in this final arc, it's Uryuu. The only one that didn't have his own rescue arc was Chad. Also, the friend of the main character betrays him and his other friends by joining the dark side in order to avenge the death of his family, or in this case, I believe it's his mother. Well, technically, Haschvalth was the one who said this, but Uryuu hasn't really said why he joined Yuha. I don't know if they're gonna ever get to that anytime soon. Anyway, so the main character and his other group of friends are gonna go after the betrayed friend and bring him back. If this sounds familiar to you, it should, because that was the beginning of the Sasuke Retrieval arc back in part 1 of Naruto. This is starting to become too much of a coincidence, especially since voice actor Noriaki Sugiyama voiced both Sasuke and Uryuu. Anyway, good old Mr. Hattenclogs Kisuke Urahara shows up with a parasol, saying that he's going to arrange their travel vouchers to the Spirit King's palace, which might take a minute or 60. How is Urahara going to arrange Ichigo and maybe Chad or Orihime to go to the Spirit King's palace? I really have no idea, but this is Kisuke Urahara we're talking about here. If you're in a pinch, he's always the guy that has the solution. I know they're gonna go to the Soul King's palace through the entrance that Ichigo created earlier, but how exactly are they gonna get there? Maybe this is where Kukaku comes in, and they're gonna go the same way just like they entered the Serete back in the Soul Society arc. We got back to Rukia and Renji, who has his Bankai activated to protect themselves from the blast from from earlier. Still have no idea how that blast was caused, by the way. But it has split up the Shinigami and the Sternritters. So they weren't going to really have a 6-on-8 melee battle royale. The thing is, there are 6 Shinigami and there are 8 Sternritters. So they're obviously going to be paired up with a couple of the characters. The first one, by the way, is Renji and Rukia versus Bazz-B. By the way, Rukia and Renji were also aware about Uryuu and they were upset over this. Bazz-B, on the other hand, considers teaming up with the Shinigami just to kill Uryuu because Bazz-B and the rest of the Sternritters despise Uryuu. Renji's reply was to knock some debris towards Bazz-B with his Bankai, telling him to shut his pie hole, you fucking rooster. You know, I never thought of a chicken when I saw Bazz-B's Mohawk. I always thought vulture, but the more I think about it, yeah, he does kind of look like a rooster. But it's no laughing matter for Bazz-B because he does not like it when you insult his fucking majestic Mohawk. Why does this sound familiar? A character in Shonen who gets pissed off whenever someone insults his hair. Why does that sound so familiar? It'll probably come to me. Anyway, Bazz-B is really pissed over Renji's insult on his hair, and he thought that Renji would be cool since he's got some pretty spiffy eyebrows. But it seems that he was too quick to judge. Renji, however, seems to be really moved by Bazz-B's compliment on his eyebrows, and he starts to think that Bazz-B is pretty cool. But it's too late to be a kiss-ass as Bazz-B activates Burner Finger 4, which is a big fire sword which looks really cool, and of course it causes a fiery explosion. But we cut back to the Soul King's palace, which it seems peaceful at first, but the chapter ends with Ywhach, Haschvalth, and Uryuu arriving, wrecking shit up. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 587. What I think? Well, I thought the chapter was okay. There wasn't a lot of action, but at least we get to see Burner Finger 4. Makes you curious as to what Burner Finger 5 looks like, or can Bazz-B do Burner Finger 10? Since the Shinigami and the Sternritters are separated, I don't know who is paired up with who, but I am curious as to see the other matchups. There was a lot of comedy in this week's chapter with Chad throwing Ichigo to a building, and of course the exchange between Bazz-B and Renji. You know, if they weren't enemies, these guys would totally be friends, just as long as you don't insult Bazz-B's hair. The comedy is not bad, but I can't help but feel like it was just there to fill space. I mean, stuff did happen in this week's chapter, but it felt like not a lot has happened. But at least progress was made near the end of the chapter. Now, Ichigo is gonna go to the Soul King's palace again to confront Uryuu, Haschvalth, and Ywhach. Who is going with him? I'm hoping it's Urahara, Chad, and Orihime. Urahara because we haven't seen him fight in a very long time, and I really want to see his Bankai. As for Chad and Orihime, I just want to see them do something. We haven't seen them do anything in this 1,000-year Blood War arc for a very long time. We know that they were preparing for the war in Hueco Mundo, but we didn't get to see what they were doing in Hueco Mundo. I also want to know where they got those clothes. And speaking of Hueco Mundo, where the hell is the Urahara Hollow Army? Or better yet, where the hell is Grimmjow? I mean, someone had to activate the Garganta for Chan Orihime to go to the Serete, so did they bring along an Urahara army with them? Did they bring along Grimmjow? Or are the Urahara not going to be involved in this whatsoever? Because if that's going to happen, then I will be really pissed. Now, with the three Quincy's, now that they've arrived in the Soul King's palace, I hope they get confronted by Squad Zero because I want to see what Squad Zero can do in terms of combat. I'm even more curious as to see the Soul King meeting Yuha. I don't know if he wants to kill the Soul King, but I hope that when he meets him, they might have an actual conversation or at least learn a little bit more about the Soul King and maybe a bit more on Yuha too. So next week's chapter might focus on 4 different things. Urahara's preparations to get Ichigo, Chad, and Orihime into the Soul King's palace, the continuation with the Bazz-B versus Rukia and Renji fight, or seeing the other matchups between the Shinigamis and the Sternritters, or Ywhach, Haschvalth, and Uryuu's invasion of the Soul King's palace. So I am curious as to what's going to happen next week's chapter. So overall, this chapter I thought it was okay. There was a bit more stuff that was actually happening, but a lot of it was was kind of stalled with the comedy, at least there was some progress made near the end. So tell me guys, what you think of this week's chapter of Bleach? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Any ideas on the matchups between the Shinigamis and the Sternritters? How do you think Urahara is going to get Ichigo to the Soul King's palace? And what do you think is going to happen now that Ywhach, Uryuu, and Haschvalth are in the Soul King's palace? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 587. I'm LunarSpawn27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.